All right, all right. Let me know if you can hear me out there in Tridactyl land, in the Tridactyl sphere. Hello, fans. I don't know how many detractors would actually watch this. They end up in the Reddit groups, though, don't they? You know, it's weird. I have people suggesting. Let me turn a couple lights on here. Make it a little bright. I have people suggesting that what I present may not be true, may be exaggerations, speculation. I guess you could call it speculation, but there seems to be people who thrive on the thrill of not knowing. I had a friend just say it to me just the other day. Well, we really don't know, do we? It seems to be there is some sort of solace in not knowing. So this latest skeptic suggested that the animals I was showing were just animals. It's just a ram or just a frog, as someone else has said. We've gotten so used to this Occam's spork explanation for things. In archaeology or anthropology, they call it independent innovation. That means multiple people in different continents just thought of the bow and arrow all on their own. Primates at one time. Well, I mean, we're not at one time. We are primates. But simple primates, what do you call them? Primitive primates? So what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about the steganography. And what I suggest is that animal symbolism isn't about the animals at all. It's about what sort of behavior or what sort of physical characteristics or attributes that animals have that are similar to something like a tridactyl. So let's see, what are we going to look at today? Let me go ahead, just for fun, we'll go ahead and look at the Sphinx. Actually, let's look at the Sphinx. So nothing new here, right? You guys all know the Sphinx. Whoa. Okay, so the Sphinx, of course, I do suggest is one of many forms of tridactyl symbolism. Like Akhenaten and other Sphinx, it is in a quadrupedal position. I suggest that these beings go through a metamorphosis because they are proto-amphibians, and their guise or their countenance is very cat-like. It has a benign, serene look to a natural tridactyl. So I suggest cats are associated with them. Now, of course, people are going to say, well, Ed, the Sphinx faces Leo, the constellation. So the Sphinx is flat out a lion. Well, if you look at Leo, Leo really is the little prince or the basilisk. A basilisk is a poisonous serpentine being. How do I know that that's what it is? Because Regulus means little prince, and little prince is Regulus is a version of basilisk, which also means a similar meaning, which is interesting. We have the basilica also. So it's not a lion. As sure as I don't think Capricorn is a half goat, half fish. It is also the Tridactyls. I'm sure we can go into many of those signs and either figure out a specific being or deity that's associated with our constellations, or some sort of metamorphosis stage even of these beings. So why are we looking at the Sphinx today? We are looking at the Sphinx actually because I wanted to look at this section here in the chest. You see that there? There's a sort of a bulge coming out the top. And I think there might even be better depictions of this. Now, if you can hear me out there, give a shout. Or if you can't hear me, give a shout. I suppose I could always check. I could always listen on my own. Whoa, yeah. Okay, good. I'm hearing myself. Whew, that was scary. Blasted my own ears with my own voice. Speaking of my own voice, have you checked out any of my versions of my Nerd Night talk? We've used a great program thanks to Cyberlinks, the girl in the chair who helps me with all this technology and streaming and whatnot. But check out, if you speak Russian, I just uploaded a Russian version, and there's a Hindi version, Chinese. I just think some of this stuff is so important that the more people we get it to, and the more language barriers we break down, the better. Because after all, I do suggest that these beings are the ancestors to us all, the beginnings, the impetus of humanity's cosmology and belief system. And if you look at the Sphinx from the side, I don't know if I have a picture of that. It does kind of have a bit of a elongated head, not unlike a tridactyl, similar in proportions, actually. So I do suggest that. I also have some pictures that appears though maybe the eyes have additional imagery. The ears may have serpentine shapes, something like the Olmecs. But there's that shape again here coming off the chest. You see that? So I'm wondering or suggesting if that is actually something more akin to this. So here we have an Amun-Ra statue. And this is one of the statues that people would like to point out and say, well, Ed, that's just a sheep, or that's just a ram. But you got to keep in mind that Amun and Khnum are both creator beings. This is a creator god. So what is this imagery suggesting, this creator god? I suggest that this is one of the earliest pieces of steganography that I stumbled across, where I suggest Amun, being a creator god, isn't just a ram, but is a steganographic concealment of a tridactyl with the ears acting as the eyes. And I wonder, too, if those ears may have some other symbolism to it. So, of course, with a lot of the steganography, I suggest you look at it smaller thumbnails, not bigger. The smaller you look at it, the more your eye draws in the total image. Or you can treat it like a modern day squint image. And squint also, defocus your eyes or close your eyes and just open them a little bit. That's another way of doing it. All right. So we're looking at this because what does that symbology mean? What does that mean? That image of man in between a creator being's chest. To me, it looks like something not supplicating a foe, but rather in a nourishing protection stance, embracing the human. I suggest too that we have the right to reinterpret artifacts now. We have the physical evidence of the bodies of the Tridactyls. All right. Let's look at another one. This is Khnum. 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 Yeah, let's zoom in there. And again, we have the human figure at the center, as though protected like a mother goddess. I think we can still play a little music in the background now. Just a little bit. Cool. All right. And again, if we look at it, I think a smaller thumbnail, you'll see the countenance of a tridactyl appear, I suggest. I suggest that, yes, it's a ram, but those ears are playing the role of steganographic eyes of the tridactyl beings. Now, again, we could say, I think part of the myopia with skeptics is that they see one of my info memes, one suggestion, and they see that one picture and just think I'm spitballing, or I just thought of it this afternoon over a beer. I did not. Looking for some people to give me a shout out on one of the chats so I know I'm alive. Am I a person? So what's really cool about this imagery is that it's also in the Caribbean. So when I first began my journey, some of you may recall, I recognized the tridactyls from petroglyphs in the Caribbean and in Canada. So doing my research, sure enough, these spirals were found with these images. And there you can see, this is not just my interpretation. Others have noted, other archaeologists have noted that this is a mother goddess imagery. Why is it a mother goddess imagery? Because again, it shows something nourishing, something not necessarily nourishing, but engulfed with protection. And so what you see there in the center is supposed to be a smaller being in between the two tridactyl hands and the cordiform shaped heart, head, face, really. I don't know what this is on the left here. I don't know if that's supposed to be an ear, a symbol of marine life, or perhaps even the mind-born motif of something being born from the head. So I just thought that those other pictures we looked at, where we saw the Sphinx appearing to have some sort of being that it's, I keep saying nourishing. I don't know if that's the best word. What's the word I'm looking for? Protection still, I guess. And same with the Amun and the Khnum statue. So I suggest this is the same imagery. But more importantly, oh, I just lost it, right? Can I bring it back? Yeah, I can bring them all back. Look at, I say more importantly, but not really. I got to zoom out. Look at this image in the lower corner. And here, and what I'll do is we'll just make all of these bigger, right? If they would, geez. How do things not move sometimes? Let's see. Why would it move? Okay. All right, so let's just look at all of these together. If we can make them bigger, I think. Too big. So anyway, the point is the gold artifact here was found in association with the tridactyls. Now, mind you, I hadn't even really paid attention to many of the artifacts or had seen them, and I was already coming up with the ionic column volute theory. My theory is that the ionic columns and the volutes symbolize the mother goddess via the tridactyls. And then I did confirm that because those ionic columns were also at goddess temples and serpent worshiping temples. And later I noticed too, more connections. We'll get to that in a second. So look at that. So this was found with the tridactyls. That might be Vince's script above. I'm not sure. It's a little faded, but there's some. But look right here. Even on this Caribbean Caribbean piece. A very similar image down below here. You're seeing mostly the top part, but it's really the bottom part I want you to look at. All right, and then just randomly, here's one from Egypt. So I suggest images like this are steganographic concealment. Now, my mother would tell me as a kid, I would say, if I looked at this, I might say, I see a face, Mom. She says, you're seeing things, just the design. But what do we see here? I think I see a subtle mouth. Again, the eyes. Maybe this fan here represents birth or children or the cranial ridges. And then perhaps we even have a third eye in the center here. So let's continue with our steganography, suggesting that these volutes and mother goddess imagery are all related. And we're going to go ahead and look at a video. Some of you have probably seen this before. Sorry if it's a repeat. I'm going to check my chat, see if there's anybody saying hey. Nobody yet. Come on, you people out there, say hello. You can say hello on X, Facebook, and what's another good one? YouTube. Probably some others, but those are the three biggies. So we're going to look at more. What I suggest is steganography. I think we'll turn off the music for this one. That's cinematic on Restream. Cinematic music playing on the Restream. Looks like we are doing a tab here. Era, Temple Hathor. That's an old site. We have the pillars of Hathor showing the face of not the faces. But the two faces seem to be steganographic concealment of supraorbital arches and an isosceles maxillary plate, plus stereanthropic beastly little noses. So, some of these skeptics, again, they just got off a bar stool or something and think it's time to teach me a thing or two. And those of you who don't know, I've been working on this full time. Well, this music's still playing. I've been working on this full time, for a year and a half. I am a former archaeologist, which is funny. People, I think I've caught people at least 2 or 3 times now where it's like, well, maybe if someone was an archaeologist, we could take their word for it. And I say, oh, well, I was an archaeologist. Yeah, but no, because not. Just they start to move the goalposts back. It's like, no, you're not good enough of an archaeologist. Or they'll say, well, you're just an actor. And it's like, yeah, I do acting. I try to do acting. It's mostly auditions, right? If I was booking, maybe I'd be too busy to even do Tridactyl stuff. But that's like a part-time job. Doing this is more full-time right now because I work on the science or the cultural connections every day. So let's look at some more steganography, shall we? Let's see if we can find some groovy faces. Now, some people say it's just pareidolia, but ironically, I was taught by a philosopher who used to run a museum. The museum I used to work at, but he ran it before I started there. And he would say that pareidolia is Mother Nature's way. It's an ingrained subconscious defense mechanism to protect us from killing little things with big round eyes. What? Like, I don't even remember how he got to that. It's like to stop us from killing puppies and babies, I guess, was his original intention, but little things with big eyes sounds like something else. So we might be wired, some of us at the very least, to not fear these. We're looking at steganography right now. I should really just show you this screen real quick. So just to give you an idea of some of the folders I have. These are all tridactyl folders, different cultures and different motifs. Steganography. I'm not sure how many people have seen this before, but let's start with the easy one. Okay. So what do we got here? Again, some of you have probably seen this before, so sorry if it's a repeat. But upper top there, we have the crossed arms of a Yakshasa, guardian god, flanking a likely hybrid, in retrospect, a human-looking god. And in between the arms is this therianthropic face with even a little beastly nose. And you can see the temporal process here, the temporal bones, I should say. So this is the arms as face motif. And I suggest that these crossed arms are all concealing different tridactyl faces within. And some Egyptian faience. So, of course, the Egyptian faience is done in a green-blue many times, blue-green color. I suggest that is probably the natural color of these beings, hence that and jade. So we're moving in. Again, I suggest this is the arms as face motif of a tridactyl face. Also, what this does too, if you have a tridactyl face here with the temporal arches, and then this head, human head here, then it fulfills the mind-born motif, depicting man being born from the head of a tridactyl. Now, I also suggest this is likely why we carve pumpkins. Also, the similar shape to, yes, even pretzels, which are related to a strange river goddess. So what do you think? Is this easy steganography? Is this the arms as face motif depicting tridactyls? Perhaps even multi-headed tridactyls stacked upon each other? What's on his head there? All right. Oh, of course, then the Vinci piece. All right, good stuff. Let's go. We got some more steganography we're doing today. How are we doing on time? Right on. Okay, moving up. I'm trying to do it in like hard, easy to hard here. Okay, we're getting a little more difficult now. Okay, and once again, I suggest it's probably easier to even squint your eyes at some of these. I know some people have gotten a little bit of ontological shock after squinting, or you close your eyes and slowly open them. That's another way of doing it. And again, think of it as a modern squint image where, you know, the cheeseburger you stare at looks like a face or it looks like Jesus or something. Not pareidolia, because it's actually perspective anamorphosis. It's an art form designed to conceal the beings. So what do you see? Do you see any faces in any of these? Or multiple stacked faces? Is this 1, 2, and then a third up top? I really like this one. Do you think do I see what I think I see? And again, look, moving in, zooming in is not our best friend. I really should just keep this small and let your squinting do the rest from here. So I suggest all of these are either a large face together here with these pieces representing eyes. I suggest the mouth here. The heads are eyes. So I don't know. Let me know. That one up there. It's like a giant skull type looking thing. Cool. Don't forget today we're going to be giving away a tridactyl head. Okay, now we've got some Mexican stela, Mesoamerican. Again, let's just leave it small for now. And you see, I did do some Photoshop on this one, trying to pull out what I think is what is a head. I think this one's pretty easy. Upper right-hand corner here, that top-looking skull-like thing. Now, you should also notice that there should be perhaps some, how would I describe it? Cross-like beings, I suppose you could call them. So right here we have this stem, and there is a little being in the center. This bottom section could be another face, but what's actually on this one that I really like? I don't remember. This one I think is just this little section here. Yeah, there it is. So this could be two eyes here. And again, what I notice a lot is the human face ends up playing the role of, the eyes will end up playing the role of nostrils. Okay, so this one here, very difficult. Again, squinting is probably helpful. How can I play with this more? I'm trying to maneuver it without it getting too cut off. There we go. All right, cool. So once again, if you've been following the supraorbital arches, I believe these are supraorbital arches here. And if we squint, this would be the mouth. And some eyes over here. What else do we see? Strange shaped head on that guy, huh? That's what I suggest. That is probably a large face there. Then this one. Again, I see two eyes here. I suggest that perhaps it's something more like this. How about this one? Have we looked at that one already? I think so. Let's get a little closer shot here. So I'm always squinting at these things. So yeah, this one's definitely more difficult. You know, I'm even having trouble today seeing things because if they're so big on my screen, I'm not used to seeing that size. But that is very difficult. Then the last ones, this is the real sketchy ones. Like, is this for real or not? I'm not even sure here. So these on the left are the originals, and then on the right is what I suggest is the steganographic concealment of these things within. And is this up here with this extra head coming off? I think I showed this one last week. Is this also the mind-born motif? Is this really a cow? Or is this a tridactyl head running left to right? Is that an eye there? Is this some sort of primate crawling out? It looks almost like Bigfoot. It's like a Bigfoot face there. So is that a tridactyl face concealed? Are there other faces concealed within, or other images of beings perhaps concealed within these cave paintings? Now, note too, something interesting. It looks like all of the being's right side is not symmetrical. So I think that's great that all three of these, a Ice Age painting, an Egyptian cartouche, and something from an Indian temple, I suggest all conceal a cordiform shaped face that has gone through the mind-born motif, and their head or face is partially damaged from this birth process. And that would go along with myths on Kubera, the hidden god of the India, Kubera, who's likely also Ka and the father of Ku. So Kubera, the bearer of Ku, who I suggest is the name of the child. So I suggest a simple trinity of Ki for the mother goddess, Ka for her son, and Ku for the next edition. I believe this is all parthenogenesis, and again, we're doing with, I used to say gastric brooding, but I don't even know if that's true because I don't think the beings have a proper stomach. So it's more of a coelomic or a thoracic brooding. So those are some of the hardest I suggest. And if it's even, you know, you're right. Perhaps I am seeing things, but I'm just trying to do my best here. And I think, is that it for our steganography? There's always other things to discuss with that. What other stuff did I want to talk about today? I wanted to suggest, what the heck? I wanted to suggest the question is, what did J.R.R. Tolkien know? Yeah, because he did a lot of research in the mythology, and there's certain words he used and certain phrases that he suggested. For example, he suggests that hobbits just evolved into humans. And then we have the names like Sauron and Saruman. So he intentionally chose the lizard prefix for these villains. He has Shelob, who is said to always exist. Well, the goddess Xiatian, what other her names are? She has a lot of different names. The mother goddess of the West, we'll just call her Xia. She too is said to have always existed. So he used those exact phrases for Shelob that is used for Xiatian. I just call her that. Tian is because it sounds more interesting. It's the goddess or god term. It's interesting because I suggest that is the impetus for even the pronoun she. It's coming from this goddess, a singular goddess, which is why we use that. Even the orcs or the urks and the pig inflections, the pig associations, there is a theory out there that we also have pig DNA, and that the Isle of Orkney was inhabited by some little pigs or little seals. They weren't specific. So were these orklings of Orkney something else? Were the Skraelings that the Vikings supposedly met in North America, were they something else and not Native Americans? The Native Americans of the Northeast were, I would suggest, probably were a good-sized people. So I don't know if the term Skraelings would really apply to them. There we go. We got Gears fan here. We'll have to put Gears down for a extra chance to win a Josephina head tonight. Thanks for showing up. We've been talking about steganography in Egypt, the mother goddess imagery. What else? I don't know. And now we're talking about Tolkien. What did Tolkien know? Let's look at one last picture from the computer here, and let's check out Tolkien's goblin language that he wrote for his children for Christmas. And I have that under my symbols folder. One hopes. Or I put it somewhere else for more fun. There it is. All right, check this out. I didn't think I was going to show this, but why not? So I'm just suggesting, what did Tolkien know? Yeah. Good stuff, huh? I didn't want to say anything. That's just too cool. I love those little dudes he made. Wow. I want to make sure I did cover everything I wanted to talk about. If you guys have any questions, I know Gary usually sparks a thing or two in me. What else? I talked about the skeptics being a pain in the ass. Oh, I know. Yeah, let's take a look at the Tridactyl store. What? Let's grift. Let's grift again like we did last summer. Let's grift again like we did last year. I can't even find it. Tridactyl store. There we go. Okay, guys. What do I own here? Well, I think my friend has the Cyberlinks has the NT Tridactyls Alien. I got a blue polo. My buddy Fat Jesus got the classic Tridactyl tee. And I think someone actually bought a sweatshirt and another tee. So that's, oh yeah, someone bought the set shirt, the set Naga Cobra symbol. It's pretty cool looking. So yeah, why not? And of course, that is at our page, tridactyls.com, where you can find the 3 science light papers, I call them, because they're probably not going to publish them, but at least it gives you a list of all the morphology and the unique parts of the Tridactyls, from their gastralia to their interclavicle to their, what else? Their kappa and their parietal pineal complex. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I suggested there was going to be a parietal pineal complex, and then sure enough, I found one right where I said it was going to be. I suggested it was going to be right freaking here in this pneumatic space. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. What were we on to now? We showed the store. I think what we're going to do next is we're going to give away Tridactyl head. And while we do that, I'm going to just play a little music for you here, if you don't mind. Welcome to Tridactyls.com, home of the constant companion theory. We were never alone. Let's listen to this for a sec.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
Oh, here we go. What do I think of the... I don't. I'm trying to stay out. Oh, let me put the comment up so everybody can see it. What do you think of the Sphere of Buga? I don't. I'm actually trying to stay out of that one. It almost feels like a distraction because, like, literally everyone's like, "Hey, look, squirrel." I'm just trying to stay focused on the Tridactyls. I will say I didn't like the looks of the letters. They looked like poor artsmanship made by a modern day person. So I wasn't a fan of those. The footage of those things flying is intense and incredible, and that is very cool. So I don't know. I'm withholding judgment mostly and trying to focus on the little buddies. But what's going to be your number today, Gear? Get a number to win it ahead. Oh, look at that there. Got Luisa on the screen. What if it was? Let me show that comment. So Gear said, what if it was created by a Nazca mummy? Maybe. What if it was? But, well, so far, what script have we found with the Nazca mummies? We found the Vinci script, right? So it doesn't really look like that. So, and where are these things coming from? So, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that suggests Nazca mummy yet. Yeah, we can say what if. You need to pick a number though, Gear, because you're going to try to win another head today. Your first one. He's got a lot of numbers, so eventually people are really going to start winning. Some weeks, nobody wins. Gear, I've got some numbers up there on the screen. If you want to choose one, let me know. We're going to be giving away either this one or maybe a green one. Let's see. This one's, what's interesting about this one's very painted. It's very painted. It's very weighted, not painted. Okay, let's see. So he got 70. I always like to go right to the thing and put the name down there. Okay, Gears is in at 70. Now we can roll the dice for today's. You got it. We can roll the dice. We're going to roll a 99 on, hopefully, a D100, I should say. Oh, we're not staring that. We'll be rolling a D100 on roll 20 today to see if somebody wins a Tridactyl skull. Let's go any smaller. Is that smaller it goes? So yeah, I don't know if anybody plays any role-playing games, but I'd like to do a Tridactyl fundraiser. What do you think? But it would probably be a grift for me. A fundraiser for me. Here we go. What do we got? 96. 96 is the number today. No winner. Oh, my. All right. How cool is that? Let's stop with that sharing then. Let's just take a look at Louisa as we wrap up the show. Oh, here we go. Who's this? We got somebody saying, follow me, I'll follow you back. Let's grow together. Kick.com. Okay, well, I guess I'm not really on the Kick. I just kind of just stream this stuff here. I'm really mostly on X and sometimes on the Reddit and sometimes on Facebook as well. So let's just leave us today with a groovy picture of Miss Louisa and maybe play a little music. I can't seem to get off this. Wow, I'm like trapped. There we go. I was trapped on the other screen. Let's play a little music and just wrap this up. What do you say? This is the constant companion theory. We're looking at Louisa. Now, I do want to suggest that Louisa, we're also is just like Victoria has what? 3% human DNA. These beings are going to be likely part primate. Let's see if we can move in. Got my wrong glasses on today. Can't bloody see. There we go. Okay, so look at those enormous occipital condyles. Oh my God, they're like. So why do they have those? That's for their neck. It's for neck muscles. That's typically found in mammals, although I guess it could be found possibly in amphibians. But I don't think those are going to exist on the smaller xenomorphs. I don't think they have those. So between the supraorbital arches and those occipital condyles, we should be looking at I mean, we know Victoria is 3% primate, so I'm suggesting that is going to be from their primate side. Bunch of people writing to me the same message, all different people. I don't know what that's about on Kick. That's kind of weird. All right, cool. So what else can we say about this? These beings maybe have, I don't know if it's just two-lobed brain or actually two brains, because that skull in the back, and there were, what, two dried pieces, so they might actually be double-brained. That would be interesting. We'll have to do a little more research into that. Oh, here we go. To McDowell, here we go. Thanks, Gear. Let's put Gear's comment up there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure McDowell has seen those because the Sun just commented recently. So I have someone in my Reddit group who's like waiting for McDowell to give his blessing on these. I think they already have. And, you know, what's there to say? This is flesh and blood. You can see for yourself, you know. I mean, obviously, this is a reconstruction using the CT scan. It's not a photograph per se. But again, that's what we got. All right, Gears. Better luck next time. Thanks for coming. Live long and prosper, everybody. My name is Mr. Ed, and I'd like to consider myself the first xenoanthropologist, perhaps.